Hello. Just checking to see if anyone can see me or hear me. Getting a bunch of messages, finding my phone. Let me see how I can get on here. Don't I? No idea where I put my phone. Oh, let's see here. Yeah, this is the time. Nah, you can use, okay, so, okay, let's see. Can you hear me? My phone is like lost somewhere. I got billions of pillows. Oh, there we go. It's right behind me. Oh, goodness. Okay. Oh, I hear someone. I hear someone.
I'm here.
Yay, you're here. You figured it
I
out.
think so.
Fabulous. So, okay, so I'm actually then. Oh, yay, we've got Angela on. I've taught Angela how to use Google Hangouts on air. Yay, well, I'm glad I can also teach people how to use these tools. These are very valuable tools. Angie, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Fabulous. So, as you can see, I'm not a huge fan of Facebook Live simply because it's really a one-way interaction with a little bit of lag time. And also, I mean, I talked fast because I'm not really sure. I mean, I had a script prepared, but I was really more interested in just getting people to know what's available to them. So I know, Rebecca, like I've talked to you, and Angela, you've also, Angela, Angie, I see I'm seeing your name, so this is like what happens when you're doing something where you just do what you see. Um, but my goal is to help people do more of whatever it is that they want to do. Both of you already know that, right?
Oh yeah.
Mike, I guess my question for you right now in this open time is there something that I can do to help you either with your productivity or any other questions you may have that either I can put them in the queue of things to answer or even answer some of it now?
I have one thing that Brandon and I need to work out since we're actually working together now and have gone from the stage last month where it was all prep time to this month where we're actually starting production and doing a show, planning the website, all these things. I work best with a written list. Part of it is because if it's on my phone, I tend to forget about it because I'm working in the studio with like Netflix on my phone or podcast or something like that. So I'm not checking it or touching it. Also, usually have clay all over my hands.
Right.
And usually I'll write the list and have it right in front of me um, so I can cross things off as I go or while I'm sitting there doing the mindless stuff, kind of planning where everything's going to fit in. Um, I have an annual plan, I have a quarterly plan, I have a monthly plan, and then I break it down each week. And I'm trying to figure out what would be the best tool for Brandon and I to use collectively when he's here or he's working remotely that we're both able to keep up with, and it's not necessarily um, going to take a lot of time for us to set up and maintain digitally.
So I actually have a really good response for that. So I have been using Google Sites because I've actually created a digital operations manual using Google Sites. Simply because you can create pages for each layer of the tasks that you may have to do. I can actually do a screen share with you now. Let me just go ahead and get it to a page that I'm comfortable sharing. Okay, yeah, all right. So I'm going to go ahead and screen share with you now so you can see this. So this is my CNC Creative Niche Collective operations manual. It's just the start of it, but you can see that basically what it does up here in the address bar, you've got sites.google.com with your particular domain, and you can create, in fact, multiple sites. And the cool thing about this is that it's not public unless you share it specifically with someone, or I believe that you can make it public.
Okay.
But because you can see here on the side where it's home, tools is under home, coaching, social media, goals, but you can do subtasks. In fact, you can do subtasks.
Okay.
And so what you could do is, let me really quick, let's see if I can find another one that I can use. Angie, let's see what Angie has to say. Okay, Angie's in the Hangout. Angie, do you mind? I think I have, I don't know if, let me see. Where is it at again? Okay. Let me see about, all right, I'm going to show Wikidly Sheiks because this is the most like drawn out. But you can see here that you can actually link to pages in it, and you can do sub-articles. So on this particular one, for example, we've got like her operation, so it's like high-level summary of what we need to do. In that, I've even got goals and forecasting involved. So I have done forecasting for the year in terms of, financially, what could we achieve by the year, by quarter, then by month, breaking that down into things like how many vendors that would be to be advertising on the site, things like capturing competition and inspiration all in one place, including a weekly to-do list. So we've actually looked through, what are the things that we're doing weekly, write that down, and it almost becomes like a template.
Right.
And so that may be, in fact, I feel like as you grow, and especially as you transition from being a one-person operation to a multi-person operation, oh, Liz can't get in. Hold on just a second. I'm going to send her the invite. Go ahead. Here we go, Liz. Just a second. And yeah, so as you go from being a one-person in operation to a multi-person operation, what was in your head has to go somewhere because he can't read your mind.
Right.
And this is, in fact, one of the biggest challenges that I've seen to scaling a business is that you start with intentions of being one person, doing your thing. It's born in your mind. You're the owner of it. And then how are you going to deliver that information to someone in a valuable way? So
Right.
I find operations manual is very, very valuable. And again, if you can, take time to create either, batch tasks, so you know that things that you've done in the past, you just do a brain dump it all out, then you can, figure out from there what may need to change. In fact, he may find ways that can become more streamlined. And in that streamlining process is also where you're going to continue to be more productive over time.
Right.
Okay, yeah, sorry, I'm just like taking a look to see Cheryl. I'm going to say Cheryl, join us. Just a second. Sorry, this is the only thing about trying to do multiple things at one time. So yeah, so I would say make a note of what you have known to do, and then maybe spend some time on the operational aspects, at least aligning what you have done, what you expect to be done, how he interprets that to be done. I know it sucks to have to spend that kind of time, but I promise you, doing this now, and you know this,
Oh yeah.
that if you're doing this now, you will find a way to, in fact, be way more efficient, way faster. Even, and I'm going to ask you a quick question, like, he's doing your marketing, correct?
He will be, yeah.
Okay.
Right now we're still kind of working out what the new plan is going to be. Since I won't be doing it all solo, the direction is definitely going to be changing. So yeah, that's one of the tasks that he'll be running the majority of.
Fabulous. I'm going to show you really quick another thing. Liz, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, you can hear. Awesome. So I'm going to show you another thing really quick as well that I've done. I'm a big fan of using generally all Google tools. I will be very clear about that. I'm going to use a branding summary. When I'm working with a client, this is actually kind of where I start. Is I like to start high level of like things like branding, things like, you know, I definitely like to know their financial goals, their productivity goals, because those things all align into things like setting up your marketing messaging, along with like what are some key target dates, like for example, you know, your product salesperson. So you may have key dates like holiday seasons to hit, or you may have other promotional times that you're going to want to hit. So I like to know what their calendar looks like. I like to know what their branding should look like. And once you get these high-level definitions, which should all go into your operations manual, it makes it a lot easier for someone to pick up where you want them to, because you can say, like for example, if you want them to do marketing, here's the Big Rooster branding summary. So this is not fully done up, but you can see, for example, on this page, like I've got colors noted with the Pantone colors.
Mm-hmm.
I do things like image treatment, so they can get an idea of the image you expect to have delivered. But these kind of guides really, really, really do help for you to be able to say, hey, you know, I need you to take this task and run with it. Oh, I'm sorry. Was I sharing my screen? I was not. Dang it. Hold on just a second. I thought I was sharing my screen. Pardon me. I'll show this to you really quick. So here we go. Here's a branding summary example.
Okay.
So I just do pages of, you know, segments of it, put all this stuff in there, and it really does become a lot easier, you know, to help that person like on the uptake of what you expect.
Right. And I have all of that info in my files on my laptop, so being able to put it in a place that we can both see is really going to be helpful.
Yeah, I mean, I know you're kind of trying to do as much as you can on your own, and I believe that you are capable. But I would love to, you know, if you're interested in investing in it, I would love to be the coordinator that can pull you two together, because I think that the files that you have and the intentions you need and things you need to get from him, I think I could be the, if you will, the coordinator or the aligner of something like that.
Right.
And get you there much faster. Simply because I don't feel like you need to spend your time finding files on your computer. If you just dumped it into a Google Drive or a Dropbox, and I explained to you what we have intended to set up for the both of you, this is something that, you know, we can at least get. This is a starting point. Say, right. You tell us, fix this, fix that, and then get you that much further, because like I said, and even this is an extension of productivity. Don't do stuff that's not going to make you money. Maybe spend a couple dollars now, get someone to do that for you. I mean, I'm preaching to the choir.
Oh yeah.
I know that. But I'm going to remind you, because when we are very sure of what we know, it can be very difficult to give up that control and make that investment, especially when we don't have that capital yet.
Right.
So. Did that answer your question, or did I go too far around it?
No, actually, that's really good. That gives us a good starting point for communicating consistently between us. As I've done the branding and as I've set the plan for Big Rooster and for Rebecca Graves Pottery, Brandon's been involved in that while he was in Germany. So coming in, he has a lot of the background.
Which
it's
is
just really great to have a reference material that's consistent. So I don't have to say these are the fonts that we're using when he's getting started on a design project, because it'll all be there. Stuff
That's
like that.
Magic.
Would help, yeah.
Liz, you, like Liz and I, so if you notice, Liz and I have been working in tandem, right? I mean, we started working together on Wickedly Chic. I picked up something that was her thought baby, something that she knows very well, like the back of her hand, and it took me some time to be able to understand what it is that she was trying to achieve. And one thing that I really enjoy doing is trying to help people see outside of the box, like what's potentially available to do,
Right.
then bringing it back down and that they're comfortable with, because, and even this is important as you develop your relationship in outsourcing, is that no one's going to be able to do effectively what they don't buy into doing, whether it's the owner of that thing or it's the new employee of that thing. They both have to be kind of on the same page. And so anyways, one of the things that has allowed us to be able to do this group so fast, we decided to do, like when I was driving back from Portland last week, I called her on the phone. She's like, well, why don't we just start a group? You have so many things to tell people and blah, blah, blah. She's like, we should just start a group. I was like, sure. And we were talking about, some of the other groups that we've been a part of where there is definitely a principle of like, well, don't give too much away, but like honestly, you can find all this stuff on the internet. It's just a question of how quickly you're going to find it.
Right, absolutely. Just the thought of sitting down and searching through a bunch of programs and doing the whole trial and error thing until I find the one I want is just frustrating to the point that I'm just grabbing composition notebooks and writing everything down. Because to find a flipping calendar that my husband and I could use for our schedules that was combined was trauma enough last year.
Mm-hmm.
It was ridiculous just trying to find the right one. And it ended up being a friend of mine recommended one that he and his wife use. I was like, okay, thank you. That's all I needed was the recommendation.
Yeah. So I mean, I really feel like it's dependent upon what is natural to you, and also how about that paperwork? Is that easy to find and sort through after you've made all those notes?
No, the only good thing is that it's all in one notebook. That's like the only thing I've got going for me at this point.
I have a stack of papers right there. I have a stack of papers right there. I have a whole folder in there, and I have another stack of papers in there. I do go through and call my notes. Okay, I pull through them and I actually put them into folders and I staple them and stuff. That's a lot of extra time that is, if it was digital, I could just move it around.
Right.
And so that's one of the biggest things, is definitely helping people move from paper or make that paper transition to electronic immediately, because it's fine to have it on a daily basis on paper. But any time past the day, it needs to be almost filterable and reorganizable. Another tool that I would recommend checking out would be Trello. I'm a nut for Trello. Trello is free to start with, and it's in fact, Angie, I showed you Trello, correct?
Yeah, you did. It's fantastic. It's kind of like a more organized Scrum board.
Yeah. Angie's about Scrum life, so I knew that, knowing what she knew, I figured that it would be a decent parallel for the way that she thinks about organizing and planning. And you can do multiple boards again, and I even like to use that in conjunction with the operations manual, because for me, I have different spaces of thought. So one is contemplating, move things around easy. And one is a little bit more linear, where it goes straight down the page, so that I can know where to go and find some of those things. And also remembering my keywords. Keywords are obviously as part of search engine optimization, because that's what calls the information to Google for you, but it's also valuable in some of these other tools that you have, because remembering those little things that you put there, that will be able to allow you to be able to find that information. And I believe Trello even has a search feature as well.
Cool. Okay, I'll look that up. I've got that.
As well as does Google Sites.
Cool. I had started out earlier in the year using Evernote, and I have found that it's not visual enough for me.
I think you'll like Trello.
Okay.
I think you'll like Trello as a pre-planning tool, and then I think then that can come into a more formalized, and maybe the Google Sites becomes your operation manual in terms of documented procedure, what you've defined after you've done a little bit of testing and rearranging of the things. Once it's kind of proven hypothesis, it moves into your operations manual.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense.
Because, and and also realize too that right now you're a two-person operation. When you become three people, and that third person may be doing again something that's completely unrelated to either of what you two are doing, that person needs to have context for all the conversations that they were not a part of.
Right. Absolutely.
And I think that's one of the biggest challenges to scaling a small business is, well, what happened before I came? I don't know. And then people will easily talk to each other like, you should know.
Oh, yeah, that makes it fun.
What are some other tools that you have found, or Angie or Liz, that you want to maybe chime in about that you feel like maybe worth any of the others of us checking out or staying away from?
Yes, so this is Angie. So I use, the Trello board is huge, and then the only thing I've noticed is occasionally you'll have those like quick little things that you have to get done, and you don't necessarily want to go back into your already established agenda or notes to try to fit in those little things. So I use an app on my computer, which is also, it's live, so you can download it on your phone or different computers if you work from different stations. It's called Todoist, and there's a lot of different functionality in it, but I just use it for those quick little things. Like, right now I have a note on there that says to go check out the free pairs at North Bend Elementary. Stuff that I wouldn't normally, put into my major schedule, but at the same time, if I don't write them down, I'm totally going to forget them. So it's Todoist, Todoist. It's just a little thing. It's got reminder features. You can upgrade for more functionality, but it's just kind of handy.
Oh, yes, and I wanted actually to mention that if you are doing any, I didn't put the com there, Todoist. If you have any work that needs to be done by the hour that is noted in those Trello boards, because Trello can actually even be assigned to someone, have a due date attached to it, use colors to label it. It can also have, there's an app that will tie into it. Let me see if I can find it really quick. That will allow you to actually like time your start and stop on a project. So let's say you wanted to have I don't know, like images made up or something, and you were offering it by the time instead of the image or something like that. You could actually set up your list of images to be created and then offer someone to clock in and clock out on their time of creation. Let me find this really quick. Trello. Yeah, by the way, my phone like literally is a bunch of ridiculous productivity apps and folders and subfolders, so sometimes this can be fun. Oh, it's called Punch Time. Punch Time. Oh, and let me double check really quick that anyone else did not ask to join. Okay. Oh, I got this here. I'm adding. There we go. I missed that. I got talking. This is where I think I need to maybe have like a hang person. Cheryl. There we go. Cheryl Brown being added. So I can have someone be like, watch the little form as people request to join. Any other apps, Rebecca? Any things that you have learned that you definitely like or don't like?
I've used a lot that I don't like, and really, honestly, have not found anything that I liked enough to continue with beyond a couple of weeks because the maintenance level that was on it was too high. So I think playing with the Google Sites is going to be a good starting point along with the Trello boards. I'll check that out and see what that is. For me, when I'm working in my notebooks or I'm working on my whiteboard, and being an artist, visual is so huge for me. So that, I think, has been part of the problem with a lot of the apps that I've tried. They're probably perfectly fine for somebody who's doing more productivity stuff that's not visually driven. And to be able to drag in a picture and add it to something, to be able to drag in drawings and add it and things like that, I haven't found an app that does everything that I needed,
Trello.
And those images in there as well.
Yep, Trello can do that as well.
Sweet.
Yep. Yeah, I think you're going to be really happy with that.
Cool. I'm excited.
Yay! That's so cool. Thank you guys both for joining. And Angie, do you have any particular productivity questions or any even open Q&A type of thing that you would like me to address? I might cut off the beginning of this particular presentation, but I will probably even drop this. I'll drop it to YouTube. This is live, by the way. And then I will drop it to the group so that if anyone else wants to catch any of this last bit, that they can. This is definitely where I prefer to have a conversation, as it's way more personal. Angie and I have done this several times anyway. But I'm sorry, Angie, anything you want to share? Ask?
I don't think so. I'm pretty good right now. I'm just, I needed a little pep talk on productivity for a Monday morning, so this was fantastic.
Perfect. Well, in that case, what I'm going to do is actually I will drop you the link, let me find it really quick, to the productivity reset. Right now it's not a very pretty worksheet, but it works. I will go ahead and get on tomorrow at the same time, and we will go through this particular exercise. It's still a work in progress, but essentially what we do is we'll start with a little bit of centering, as I feel it's very helpful when you've got a lot of things going on in your brain. I would also like to mention that, again, as this group, the intention is not so much for necessarily makers. It's for really anybody who approaches business or what they're doing in a creative way. And I feel that with creativity comes emotions. Not all of us are emotionally driven as creatives, but there just can be a lot of overwhelm, and as a small business owner anyway. So I feel like it's really important to be able to center self. We'll spend 3 to 5 minutes thinking about what we've been doing recently, what's on my mind right now. We'll spend a couple of minutes thinking about what's stressing us out. We'll spend a couple of minutes thinking about what is actually going well. Then we will think about what we want to carry forward, what we want to table, and what we definitely want to get rid of. I like to work in threes because I find that there's some value in sorting through things in kind of components, and also realizing that just because you want to maybe kind of not think about something right now doesn't necessarily mean you want to get rid of it. So there's a difference between tabling a thought or need or getting rid of it. And then finally we'll go into actually developing a short-term success kind of vision, thinking about what's the most productive thing I can be doing to feel successful today, this week, and no further than in the next month. Finally, followed up by actions and thoughts that we may need to overcome so we can anticipate that. And then, even considering challenges, how we would actually address those challenges and thoughts, so we can, like I said, so we can think what they might be, think about how we want to address them. Finally, thinking about how we can be accountable, making sure we stick to our goals, and then really focusing on making a full kick-ass plan. And then in actually having defined all of that, as we go through in our short-term vision, we'll be able to reflect back to those little points that will allow us to continue to push through. So that's what I set up, and if you guys have any questions or comments on that productivity reset, feel free to let me know. But you're welcome to join me and/or invite anyone else who may need a reset, and I will actually do it with you.
Excellent. I love this. Thank you.
Yeah, I did this with 3 other ladies a couple of weeks ago, and I started like a little small. We had it was just 3 of us, 4 of us, and so we are all in a little Facebook message group, and we've just checked in with each other over the last couple of weeks. 2 of them at least have definitely seen progress and starting to feel at least that they're in control of the things that were like tripping them up and majorly, and so they are starting to see some progress. So I think it takes about 2 to 3 weeks sometimes, especially if you're getting like crazy energy going on, but it does work. All right, I guess I have like maybe like 8 more minutes. Is anything, any open Q&A that you both have?
I think for me, this is enough to get started for the amount of time that I have available, to just kind of play around and look at this, the Trello and the Google tools, and see what I can do with it. And then I'm sure I'll have more questions after I get that rolling.
Absolutely. As you do that, please definitely make make a list of questions.
I'll put them in my notebook.
Yeah, put them in your notebook, or you can message me. And I actually have running. I like Google Form everything because it's a way for me to keep like tracks of information, and again to be able to query it. I'm gonna drop you a link to my calendar if you would like, and you feel like you need to have a chat. Feel free to put half an hour. I think I've told you before, but I do a half an hour for free for the first chat. Let me see if I can get this. And I also do have some collection forms that are just it's just questions of what do you have, what do you have completed, what do you need, what did you maybe not even know that you might need, and that will help me assess like what you have to put together, so that I can better inform you as you reveal your needs.
Cool.
I'm also going to challenge you, aside from doing this Trello and this Google Sites research, I'm going to invite you that if you haven't done it yet, start getting all imagery that you want into one folder. And I know that you have Rebecca Graves Pottery and you also have Big Rooster coming up. So
Right.
Those to me are two different entities.
Yep.
What I would do is put them under one folder and then separate folders for each.
Mm-hmm.
Because for me, when I like to do my my what is it called? Curation, if you will. I like to just drop everything into one spot, and then I'll just easily take 20 minutes and just start like pushing it into the folders that it really needs to go into.
Yeah, that's
when I have a moment. And then you've got your separate folders. I like to make it no more than 3 clicks deep.
Yep.
If possible. But that will seriously help you in being able to assess what assets you currently have that are valuable to you and maybe what need to be archived but you still want to have present in terms of reflection. So maybe you have one main folder, 2 folders, one for Rebecca Graves Pottery, one for Big Rooster, and one for maybe even just archive for now.
Okay.
Because then you'll know that everything that's left remaining needs to go into those other 2 folders. And anything that's in archive is still valuable, but it's not necessarily something you want to have in front of your mind right now.
Gotcha. Yep. Makes sense.
Because I know that's going to be huge for your marketing needs.
Oh, yeah.
And that's something that you can honestly do in like little 5-minute blips. As you get stuck doing a thing, you just take and do a little bit here and there, and it won't seem as overwhelming. So I just assigned you homework. You didn't know that you were going to get homework.
That's all right. I can handle that.
Good. Angie, your productivity, what are you doing today?
Oh boy, today I'm looking at my list here. I am making some cleaners and doing some photography for the blog, and I am trying to set up all of my appointments for the rest of the week so I know what the rest of the week looks like.
Magic. So with Angie, I did some productivity reset. She actually recently had a change in her career situation, and so we started working on her blogging idea. In fact, she's my roommate from college, so we've spent a good, we figured almost 10 years basically of dreaming of these crazy things to do. So now we're trying to actually put them into place. And when she had her career change take place, I helped her with 3 things. I said, do one thing for yourself. Hey, Cheryl. I said, do one thing for yourself, do one thing for your work goals, and then do one thing for your partnership, not like with her and her boyfriend, or her fiance, I should say. So again, and maybe that's something that's valuable as well, as when you segment some of that stuff, like do something for yourself, do something for your business, and then do something for your partnership, whether it's your personal partner and or even maybe your second set of partnership, which would be your business partner. And if you're having overwhelm days, at the very least, you can probably accomplish one thing for each bucket. Angie, do you feel like that's been valuable?
Yeah, no, I love it. It helps me break it down, especially on the days that are really overwhelming, or I'm looking at my to-do list and it's maybe a little longer than I want it to be. It just kind of helps bring me back to, you know, not just what do I have to do, but why I'm doing it, which I think is one of the most valuable things when you're, you know, when you're self-employed, or even if you're just doing something, you know, for yourself as a hobby. To remind yourself and come back to the reason why you started it in the first place, because it can get a little challenging sometimes. So, you know, having those three things, and I've got it up on my whiteboard, you know, I look at it every day and I'm like, oh yeah, you know, I have to do something for us, you know, and it doesn't have to be something huge. Like when we first started, you know, when Nicole and I kind of first started this path together, she would remind me, you know, it doesn't have to be something giant. Like, you don't have to put tons and tons of thought into it. It doesn't have to be a circus every day, but just something little, just so that you're reminding yourself and you're coming back to it. So yeah, I love it.
And I feel like also, you know, sometimes we need those little things to keep us moving. And even, especially when we put, like, let's say, I was thinking of goal tracks. Like, I've got one goal track, second goal track, and sometimes those goals, like, obviously you can't prioritize all of them as number one right now. But if you do even something for the one that's on the lowest track, or the lowest couple tracks every other couple days, it's a way to keep those little tracks moving along, so you don't feel like they get totally lost in your minutia. Cheryl, I'm sorry. Like, can you? I see you're muted. Do you want to ask any questions about productivity or what we've discussed before you jumped on? If you need to, you can also use the chat window. Your mic is disconnected. Do you have any questions you want to type in the chat window? I'll let you know that if you look at the chat window, you'll be able to see that we made a little bit of a list of a couple tools. So Trello is a tool that you can use for planning. It's almost like a virtual Post-it board. Then Todoist is a tool that Angie was talking about, and it's a tool that allows her to have, you know, some planning with her daily and weekly to-dos. And I believe, Angie, did you say you shared that with anyone? Do you share that with your partner, or is it just you that uses it?
You know, right now I don't share it with anyone, but when I first started using it, it was back when I was still in the corporate world, and I used it to manage my leasing consultant, because it's something that you can have open in multiple locations at a time. And so if you have something you need someone to do, you can just type it on, you can color code it, you can give it a deadline, and it will instantly show up on their list. And Perfect. So it's got a lot of functionality, but it's simple. It's not overwhelming, which I like.
It's almost like a verbal request or a honey-do list, like in real time.
It's kind of like a virtual honey-do list.
It's like a real-time thing. So that's kind of cool, and it's almost like submitting a ticket, submitting a ticket potentially to your partner, whether that's work partner or life partner. And then finally, I mentioned also Punch Time, which is a tool that you can use to actually track time on projects. So, for example, Cheryl, something that may be valuable is if you got a custom order for, let's say, a painting or a particular scarf, you know, and obviously you're going to need to track time for the completion of that entire project, because that will come into play for your pricing. Aside from materials, Punch Time might be something that you could use to track that, especially if you had your steps listed in Trello. And I think you can actually like check in and out on each segment of the to-dos. So Did you try Trello? So she's tried Trello a few years ago. Did you like Trello? It was fine. Okay. Are there any particular productivity tools that you would recommend we check out? How does Punch Time compare to Trello? So Punch Time actually leads into Trello. It's an additional app that can help you track time. I don't know if tracking time is important to you, but you may be able to like check it out. I guess I just wanted to be able to point it out to you what it was. In fact, I feel like I'd need to know a little bit. Okay, you don't track your time with art. Jane Button would say that you probably should track your time with art, but I'm not gonna like go into that noise right now. So, but you do how you do. You could. I think it might be valuable, and I mean I know it's difficult because it can be very abstract. I think that might be a whole nother conversation is how to track some of those abstract concepts that come into pricing. Yes, being timeless is an essential part of the creative phase, and exactly this is part of even why I wanted to talk about doing a productivity reset, because I see that a lot of us who are creative entrepreneurs, they're just talking, so they're not doing the chat. Can you hear? You can hear them though, right? Perfect. So yeah, so exactly like that's why I wanted to do the productivity reset. Simply because I feel that a lot of us who are creative entrepreneurs are working with shorter distance vision, and also have a lot of potential noise going on that may affect our ability to be productive. The other two ladies that are here are Rebecca. She is a potter located in northern Indiana, just south of the Michigan border. And then my friend Angie, she's listed as Angela, and she's in Washington, and she is starting a blog called Goat on Rye. She says, hi, Angela and Rebecca. So Cheryl is a maker of, you make scarves. First you paint. She's east of Seattle. Okay, so Angie's in North Bend.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you at, Cheryl? So Cheryl, I think you were like, I was in Redmond before we moved to San Francisco. I mean, that's a side note, but I think we were like right next to each other. So CherylBrownArt.com is what she's got, but she makes, she does paintings and also turns them into beautiful scarves. So hopefully you'll all check each other out. It's Rebecca Graves Pottery, RebeccaGravesPottery.com, and then Angie's is Goat on Rye. It's WRY, right?
Yep.
Okay, yep, GoOnRide.com, and she's like an amazing maker. Okay, in Issaquah. See, seriously? Okay, and I was even just up in Seattle. It was kind of hush-hush, but I was just up in Seattle. Well, next time I come, maybe we should do like a little Seattle awesome something. Whether it's, yeah, right? We could just do a meetup. You never, like I said, you never know where you can make friends and do a thing about a thing. I love it. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up right now. Cheryl, thank you so much for stopping by. Also, I want to let you know that one last thing is that above that is a link to the Productivity Reset worksheet. So if you want to check that out, you can. And then below that is a link to my calendar. It's the calendly.com/creative niche collective. And if you want to, you can schedule 30 minutes. Oh, okay, the links are here. I'll copy them again. Copy link address. Here's this. Boom. That's the productivity. And this is second one is my email, or on my calendar. If you want to set up a 30-minute on my calendar, I always do a first consultation for free, just so I can start to get an idea of what challenges may need to be overcome, how I may be able to help you. I hope you guys found this valuable. It will get more cohesive as I get into this. I mean, I do these on occasion, but you just got to start a thing and see where it goes. I will be starting to talk about social media after this productivity. This was just meant to be like a, hi, let's do some cool stuff. So please participate in the group. Feel free to invite people to the group. How did we go from Facebook Live to Google? Well, I did Facebook Live as a hook, because it's, for me, I like this is a little more interactive where you can ask questions, whether it's in the chat window or like this, having a conversation. I can still record the conversation. And in fact, right now we're even live. So if anyone found this, I find this on my YouTube or Google Plus, they may be like, oh, let's check this out. So that's what I'm going to be doing, is doing Facebook Lives, just a little hook, and then I'm likely going to push it to Google Hangouts, just because I feel like we can have a way better interaction here. But yes, ask questions, pretty please. Invite friends, pretty please. Spotify started playing over you. Oh, I should play ending music. That'd be fun. And if you have any questions, just, post them in the group or send me a message. Cool?
Very cool. Thank you.
You're awesome. You're all awesome. Thank you so much again for coming. I'm going to end the broadcast now and go about your days. Be amazing and productive. Final homework. Like, if you wouldn't mind, you're welcome to do this. Wrap up with what you did and to be productive today. I would love to hear about that. All right, guys. Talk to you later.
Bye, ladies.
Bye.
Bye-bye.